Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm very excited. It's been a long time. We are getting back to a reaction and analysis video for one of my favorite artists, DianaAnkudinova, and this is her performance of Oh, It Is Not Yet Evening on the show Show Mask Go On in the third round. Don't know, never seen it. That's what it looks like we're getting into today. A quick thing, I've found out recently I have a connection to Diana, one of my good friends, Elisa, who's a fellow opera singer. Diana is her third cousin. So I'm actually trying to set up an interview with Diana, and Elisa could be the translator. So I need to get back on that. It would be really cool to chat with her about vocal technique and her career and everything. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys posted. Otherwise, guys, this is a reaction and analysis video, so I'll be pausing to analyze Diana's amazing voice and her vocal technique and whatever else is going on there. Please do like, please do subscribe. And a lot of you people watch these videos without subscribing. It's really helpful to the channel to subscribe, so please go ahead and do that. Hit the bell, leave a comment for the algorithm. Could be anything, just leave a comment. And if at the end you find I have enhanced your listening experience, if I've added value to your life via this video, please do consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month with some amazing new benefits as you go up the tier ladder. Without further ado, let's check out Diana's performance. That's loud. What an incredible set. This is wild. Usually we don't hear that, classic Diana, really dark, warm timbre until she gets a bit higher in her range, but normally it comes later in the song as she gets more powerful in her singing. It's very rare that we get to hear that quality right at the start, and we get it here. I mean, from the moment she opens her mouth, you're like, whoa, that's a dark voice. That's a very unique sounding voice. And we'll get some pitches going as well. Let me run it back. So F sharp minor, I believe. F sharp minor, I believe, is where we're at. Yeah. So she gets actually down. She starts on the 5. She starts on that C sharp. So she gets down to that F sharp 3 there at the bottom of that passage, which is low for a female singer. Not extremely low, but it is very low. But it sounds so much lower in her voice because she has this really dark timbre, this dark color to her sound. Oh, she actually gets down to F. She goes to the leading tone. So she gets down to F3. Oh, there's already so much space in there. There's so much darkness and warmth in the sound. It is really what makes her voice so unique. And I've talked about this before. You can do that to your voice. You can add darkness to the sound. You can pull the tongue back to block some of the sound. You can open the space in the pharynx by lowering your larynx like that. These are ways to add darkness into the sound, but she has it naturally. If you see clips on my channel elsewhere of me trying to figure out what her tongue is doing, her tongue is at a very natural position. It's flat. The tip of the tongue's on the back of the bottom row of teeth, so there's no tongue tension there. There's no unnatural space creation via the lowering of the larynx. She just has, as far as I can tell, a lot of space in her pharynx naturally. That's really the only explanation, because it's not a range thing. She does have a low range, but Certainly not the lowest female voice I've heard, but the color is the darkest female voice I've heard, which means the pharynx, there's just a ton of space in that pharynx creating that dark sound. It sounds like me, a bass, when I'm singing operatic technique. That's how much space she has. It's wild. Show me your tone. We can't quite see it. We're getting, the angle's not quite there. F4, F sharp 4 there. Also, her approach to her singing, her technique, she's keeping it pretty intimate in the sound. She's allowing a lot of breath to come through, a lot of air to come through. She's not going for the big belt, high efficient, powerful sounds yet, although I wager that is going to come later in this performance. But for now, it's very intimate. It's rather soft, which is a good place to start. It gives you a place to build. It gives you a place to travel to the climax of the song. And I'm interested to see, just how far she takes it. It's amazing to hear Diana open up into that belt range where she maintains that crazy color, but then gets very powerful in the sound too. Is this the judge just filming it? Bro, you got to be watching. You got to be listening. You got to be judging. You can't do that if you're focusing on the camera. Come on. Come on now. We got 4K cameras all over this studio capturing her performance. You don't need to take it on your on your iPhone. That's cool. So I guess this is a Russian folk song, so clearly a lot of people are going to know it, right? That's really cool. Did we see the tongue there for a second? Hey, see that? Flat. Just perfectly flat. Not doing anything, not manufacturing anything. That's just how it sounds. Down to that F again. Okay, so this is essentially verse 2, as far as I can tell. Verse 2 of the song. Slight variation. She added a little riff, a little run at the end of that first line, which she did not do in the first line of the song. She added that in. That's one variation I've heard. Otherwise, I believe this is a strophic piece, meaning the melodies, the harmonies, the chords repeat, but the text changes. That's strophic. Okay, clearly we have some multi-tracking. We have some, I assume, everything happening live. So I believe we have what you would call backup singers happening. I don't see them. I don't see the orchestration either. I presume they are elsewhere, unless this is a pre-made accompaniment track, essentially, for her, which is totally possible. That's how they do it on America's Got Talent, for example. They'll hit play, track play as person sings. So I don't know if it's a live performer kind of situation. We haven't seen them yet, but we did just get multi-tracking to the voice. So you get Diana here in the middle, panned to the middle from an audio engineering perspective, and you get other voices in the left and right ear, giving it a stereoscopic image to the sound. They're all feeling that she's feeling the text, and they're all feeling this text, because it must be a folk song that people grew up with, right? She gets a little higher in the range here. I think the highest she's gone. Okay, up to the F sharp again. It's interesting, in her voice, it's not high, but it's relatively high. It's like upper middle going towards upper in that pure chest range, which is just a F sharp. Now, that is a low point for it to be considered high, unless we're talking about an untrained singer. But she's very trained. It's just that her voice naturally has more weight to it because of that power she has, because of that dark sound. So for her to stay in pure chest voice, she's got to carry that weight up. And when she carries the weight up, she's carrying up more weight than the average female singer with her vocal range. So naturally, it's going to be harder for her to get higher in that chest range and stretch the vocal folds, because I would wager her vocal folds are actually a bit thicker than most women. So that's interesting that the F sharp 4 sounds like it's getting towards her upper range, when usually for a trained female singer, you wouldn't start hearing that till more like A4, B flat 4. I guess that oi, oi, she's a glottal attack, which is a great way to get the vocal folds to come together really efficiently. Instead of oi, oi, she goes oi. It's a great technique, especially in your upper chest range. If you really want to make sure the vocal folds come together and you don't crack or anything like that, you put a little bit more in the sound, and it naturally, the vocal folds come together tighter, allowing you to stretch them further. So you hear that on her high note there. It's a beautiful song. I like how she goes into this vibrato, and then right at the end of that last note, she kind of releases the voice and almost does a little, like a little sigh, like a little flip up to her head voice there. It's really wonderful, and it's nice to hear her also allow the vibrato to come in on these sustained higher notes. Key change. So we gone up a whole step. So now we're in A flat minor. Whoa, what a brutal key. 7 flats in A flat minor. All 7. God, listen to that timbre. There's so much space in there. See, I told you, it happens especially when she gets more powerful into her sound, that timbre becomes more and more noticeable. It's the same note she's singing earlier, but it sounds lower and beefier. Just kidding, it's a whole step up. It's a whole step up. All the low notes she was singing earlier are now even higher, but it might even sound lower because of the color. Psychoacoustics. And you can tell she is opting for a higher vocal fold closure, a more efficient sound, which in turn would be a more powerful sound. We cannot tell true volume because there's microphones, there's amplification. Even if there wasn't, you still have no idea if you're watching a recording. You have to be there in person with no amplification to truly know how loud someone's voice is. That's the only way to do it. That's why opera singers for big companies will never hire someone unless they hear them sing in the opera house, in the big space without amplification, because it's the only way to tell. It's a really fascinating thing about a loud voice. But higher vocal fold efficiency, more vocal fold closure, we can assume with certainty that the voice would be louder. We just can't really tell for real in this context. So let's point out the tongue position while we've got a perfect view of it right here. Totally natural, healthy tongue position. Nice. So we've got multi-tracking again in the left and right ears there. That dark sound maintains all the way up, and then once again on that, oh, actually it's higher now. So she maintains the dark sound up, and then now she's up to A flat 4. Like I said earlier, that's about when it starts getting more difficult, even for a trained singer. When you you just have to think about it a little bit more. She uses that glottal onset again, oi, oi, instead of oh, oh, oi, oi. And that allows her to get really good vocal fold closure and get a nice connection up there, remain in chest voice on that A flat 4. Right here. She's handling it just as easily one whole step up, which you wouldn't have expected. Like the F sharps in the first section sounded relatively high, and these A flats, a whole step up from the F sharp, doesn't sound any more challenging for her. It sounds like same approach, same method of production, easy, relatively easy. We're gonna wait a sec. That's epic, epic, epic. We get a perfect view of her tongue, and she's really letting it rip on that high A flat. You do see a very slight tongue retraction, if you can see me doing that. Instead of here, it's there. But that's very minimal, and that actually doesn't say anything about what's happening in the back of your tongue, which is how you actually get the manufactured dark sound. You can actually pull the front of your tongue back. It's usually an indicator, especially for beginner singers, what's going on with the tongue. But for a more advanced singer, there are a lot of opera singers that will manipulate the front part of their tongue, pull it up maybe, like that. As long as the back is not blocking the pharynx. If the back is nice and relaxed, you can do a lot with the front and still have cut in the sound and not manufacture. So her tongue is pulled a little bit back on these notes, maybe to add a little bit of that dark color, but nothing extreme, and clearly nothing really blocking the sound in the back of the throat. And we get this kind of aerial view of her tongue. See right there? Just pulled back about a 1/4 inch. Big mouth, yeah. So good. Also, if this is a folk song, I wager this is like a major production for it, right? This is the kind of thing I imagine like a mother singing to her baby in like a very acoustic setting with the backup choir and the drums and the lights and everything. It's like a very, it's interesting to hear if it's a traditional folk song being performed this way, but it might not be folk in the way I'm thinking of folk. It might be just like folk, the genre, which can be produced. You think like, I don't know, like Mumford & Sons or something. You can have a produced album that's folk music, right? But it's interesting to hear it on this big stage, and it's great. It's a beautiful. Sorry, my iPad is dying. I'm trying to get it out of high power mode. It's cool to hear it with this big production here. And it's just a beautiful song. Just absolutely stunning. It's like a moment of like extra dark sound. Crazy. Yes. So A flat 4, that was like A flat 7. A flat 4 is the highest she goes in this song. I never heard her go above that. Sounds really solid. Even on A flat 4, already going for that big open mouth position, which is really good for high notes in the high chest range and high head voice range as well. So smart approach, smart singing. It's pretty repetitive, but she's adding little different riffs and stuff here and there to kind of elevate the performance, keep it interesting, keep it new, keep it fresh, and overall just like very good singing, amazing quality of sound, breath support, all the things, and just a very emotionally connected performance. And it looks like it's really connecting with these judges to the point where, you know, they're singing along for this last bit. Also, apologies if you hear that. There is someone leaf blowing outside. The sigh at the end. Yes, Diana. Queen.
DianaAnkudinova. Живой звук.
Ankudinova. Okay, so the accent's on ku. DianaAnkudinova. DianaAnkudinova. I'll remember that. Man, just an amazing voice. I love her voice. It's so cool. Fascinating and cool. And she's also a very strong singer. And very great control over those little riffs and runs she does. Great control over her belt range. And of course, we love hearing the low notes as well. You know, that's part of what captures people's attention about her voice, but it's mostly that color. It's the dark color. Super fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I've done a number of videos for Diana. Go check them out. We can link some of them here. There should be a little playlist or something. Go check them out. I've done, I think, 3 or 4 videos already. I love it. I love returning to this artist. And yeah, if you'd like to see us chat in an interview, leave comments below. Go leave comments on her channel. Tell her you want to see her chat with me. That is actually a very useful thing. If she, on her end, from fans, sees that they want her to chat with someone, have an interview with someone, and then she gets the invitation to get an interview, big difference. She's like, oh, this looks cool, and my fans already want to see it. Yeah, let's do it. So do that. Go let her know that you'd love to see her chat with me, and you want to learn about how she sings the way she does. I certainly do, and everything else about it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please do leave a like. Please subscribe. It's super helpful. Hit the bell. Leave a comment. And if I enhanced your appreciation of DianaAnkudinova, please consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. That's it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.